Okay, so continuing with what we were just doing, we're now going to learn something called a sequence. So a sequence is just that. It's a sequence of numbers, and the programming can remember what your sequence was. So it's like a combination to a locker, right? Or your phone number. Okay, it's just a sequence of numbers, and that can be remembered. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here in your variables. Just below variables, you're going to see this here, make a list. Okay, when I click on make a list, it's going to it's going to ask me what's the name of the list. Okay, and I'm going to call it sequence. Okay, and it puts it up here. Okay, sequence. There's a little checkbox here. Okay, now let's just take a look at what that's doing. Okay, actually right now it's not doing anything, but I can add to that sequence. So let's put that into part of our code. Okay, so let's go to the first egg. When this phrase clicked, it broadcasts the number 1. Then it broadcasts the information that a new selection was made. Then it sets my variables. Once it's done setting my variables, I want to tell it to put whatever the variable was into my sequence, which is basically a big long list. Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be add. Okay, here, it's the first one. Add something to my sequence. What's the thing I'm going to add? Well, I'm going to add whatever current is, okay, the value of current. So as soon as this is clicked, as soon as I click 1, okay, current is going to be set to 1, and then I'm going to add that number to my sequence. So let's go up here, get current, I'm going to drag this oval into here, okay? So watch, I'm going to click this once, and watch in this space, okay, it adds 1 into my sequence. Every time I click it, it adds a new, okay, these are the positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's my sequence, okay? I selected 1 a bunch of times. Okay, let's reset that. Okay, I'm going to add, copy this, copy, put that back, and I'm going to add the same thing into each of my eggs, because each time I do it, each time I click on an egg, it's going to add whatever current is, okay, whatever current's been set to, it's going to add it into the sequence. So let's see how that works, okay? I click on this, it adds 1, it adds 2, it adds 3, it adds 4. Okay, so it's adding those to the end of my sequence. It's also telling me the length of my sequence. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, now you'll notice that this it's getting fairly long, right? So we need to add in a reset when we're starting this over. Okay, so let's go over to where we have this flag clicked. Okay, when we reset our variables here, we're also going to delete all of the sequence here, all of whatever the contents there. Click that, and it gets rid of all of my sequence information. Let's try that again. Okay, I click 1, it adds 1 to my sequence. I click 2, it adds 2. I click 3, it adds 3, and it keeps track of how many times I've clicked. Okay, I've clicked 4, I've clicked 5, I've clicked 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Okay, and it's keeping track, and it's also remembering what my numbers were. Okay, great. So let's reset that. Now what I need to do is I'm going to turn sequence off because I actually don't need to see my sequence for now. So I'm going to go over here and I turn off my sequence just by clicking or unclicking this box here. Okay, and now what I need to do is I need to tell the pterodactyl, when I click on this pterodactyl, I want you to tell me how many times I've clicked and what my sequence or what my choices were in the past. So let's add on our pterodactyl a new event. Okay, so the event's going to be when this sprite is clicked. Okay, when this sprite is clicked. Okay, we're going to do another of these guys, say. Okay, and we're going to say something for 2 seconds. Well, what are we going to say? We're going to say, well, you clicked on some choices. We want to find out 2 things. One is how many choices we've made, and 2, what are those choices? So we're actually going to need 2 of these. Okay? One is going to be you've made so many choices, and the second one's going to be these are what the choices were. Okay, so this again is going to need one of these joins because I need to put in some text and a value and some more information that I can't fit in here. Okay, so I'm going to say I want to say here you have made, I don't know how many choices. I wanted to say the number, but I can't put that in here. So let's get an operator. Oops. I want to get my join operator, which is this guy. Okay, and I'm going to put this text you have made into the first one. Okay, you have made space, and then I'm going to go down here to my variables to where my sequence list is, and I want to find out what am I asking? I'm asking how many times have I clicked the button? Well, that's going to be the length of the sequence, and you saw that it was counting that length in that box here. It said the length is this, right? So I'm going to find here length of sequence. Okay, so I want to say you have made length of sequence, but I can't put any more text in. So now this is going to work, but the text is not going to make sense. I need to put in more text than I can put here because I want to say you have made whatever 7 choices. But how do I do that? Well, I can get another operator. So I'm going to get another join operator, and I'm going to make a bit of a change here. So I'm going to take this and put it in here, and I'm going to put this as space choices. Now it's going to, and I'm going to put this into here. So now it's going to say you have made number of choices, choices. You have made 7 choices. You have made 5 choices. Whatever this length of the sequence is, it's going to spit this out as one big long string of text. Okay, and I want to put this in here. So when this phrase clicked, say you have made blank number of choices for 2 seconds. Okay, so this should actually work now. I'm not sure if I reset it recently, but if I click on it, it says you have made 0 choices. Okay, so that worked. Okay, and then it's doing the second part, which is hello. I don't want it to say hello. I actually want it to tell me what my sequence choices were. So I'm gonna need another join. So I'm gonna grab another join operator, and I'm gonna say here your choices were space, and I'm gonna say just give me my sequence, whatever that sequence was. Here it is. Just spit out those numbers. Okay, so take this, stick it in my hello, and now it's gonna say your choices were whatever that sequence value was for 2 seconds. Okay, so let's see. You have made 0 choices, so then I have no options. Let's reset everything and see how this goes. So I'm going to click 1. You chose 1, which replaces 0. I chose 2, which replaces 1. I chose 3, which replaces 2. I chose 4, which replaces 3. And now if I click on this guy, he should do 2 things. He should tell me how many choices I've made and what those choices were. You have made 4 choices. They were 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and so that's now, and if I continue without resetting, reset would be pressing the green flag. If I click 3 and then 2 and then 1 and then click on this guy, it tells me now I had 7 choices. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and it spits those out. Now this is all for 2 seconds. You may want to change how long these are because you'll notice if I move kind of quickly, it will jump back and forth a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. Okay, you leave it as is. Leave it for 2 seconds. You may just have to pause in between your clicks. Okay, this resets everything. My values are back to 0. My sequence is back to nothing. Okay, there. Okay, so it resets my choices just here. Okay, so that's all I need you to do. Remember to name this. This is going to be your name dash whatever the lesson was. It was lesson 6.6. Okay, so lesson 6-6. I think that's the last you had to do, right? Or whatever. Was this however I asked you to do it? I forget. And then save it. Okay, you can save it over here. It'll say save now, and then share this project. Okay, when you share the project, you'll get a link in the project window at the bottom that gives me the link, and you're going to put the link in Google Classroom. And you're also going to answer which piece of code is not necessary. What's not doing anything there's something here that doesn't need to be here. Okay, and that's a logic problem. You have to work through the steps of this and go, okay, well, what is being used and what's not being used? And there's something in here that's extraneous. Okay, put that in the comment. Once you submit your work, put the link in there, hit turn in with a comment about what doesn't need to be there. Great. Good luck. Bye.